Hi everybody, and welcome to EDE 201 Week 2. By now you should have completed the Week 1 module, which was pretty easy. It just involved you getting familiar with the course and with the course assignments and posting a photo to introduce yourself and getting set up on Twitter. I wanted to talk a little bit about Twitter to begin Week 2 and just to kind of talk to you about why we're using Twitter in 201. I've had a few questions, so I thought what I would do is create a statement that sort of gives a rationale for why we use social media in this class and why you might use social media in your professional life in the future. So under our Week 2 module, I have a little written statement that basically talks about the rationale for why we're using it in the course. I highly recommend you read it, but basically Twitter is going to be a really good way for us to continue the conversation in this class. So an online class, we don't get to see each other face to face, we don't get to hear other people's ideas, you only hear mine and you only post your own. So Twitter is a way for us to actually have that social learning experience, which I think is very valuable. Not to mention, we're going to be able to access a lot more resources on Twitter than we can possibly access in this class. There are many resources that even I don't know about, which is going to be great for the group to find things, post them on Twitter, and then we can see with each other about the different things that we find. So it's only going to enhance the course, both our learning and our social opportunities. So it's really important that even if you didn't choose the Twitter assignment, that you still sign up, that you still be a part of the Twitter community. If you didn't choose the assignment, basically you can sign up, you can contribute to the conversation whenever you want. It's highly recommended, but it's not required. If you've chosen to do the Twitter assignment where you have to tweet twice a week, then you're going to be sort of like the content creators for the group. I will also be tweeting as well, so you'll get to see me. When you tweet, for your assignment or for otherwise, any time for this class, you're going to end every tweet with a hashtag. It's the #, that's called a hashtag. Maybe some of you know that. But our hashtag is EDE201, our class name. If you put that at the end of every tweet, I'll be able to see it, and you can see the tweets that are related to our class. If you happen to put in the search at the top of Twitter, hashtag EDE201, you're going to see all the tweets that have that hashtag at the end. So you'll be able to follow the conversation for our class a little easier that way. So in Week 1, the only thing I had you do with Twitter was sign up and follow me. My name is Annie Whitlock on Twitter. It's pretty easy. U of M Flint is mentioned in my bio, so if you get other people that are Annie Whitlock, you'll be able to find the right one. So make sure you follow me on Twitter. I will, of course, follow you back so that I have all the class under my followers and people that I follow. Then the next step would be for you to follow other people in the course. So I recognize that this is an online class, so it's a little bit harder. You don't know who's in our class necessarily. So what I've done is you can there's a couple different ways that you can find out who else is in our class and who else you should follow on Twitter. I will start posting some people's names on Twitter, so if you follow me, I'll list some people that you should follow if you're in our class. But it might be easier if you actually just go back to the Week 1 folder and go to that Blackboard site where everyone was supposed to post a photo and their Twitter handle and search for all those people on Twitter, and then you'll have the entire class. Another even easier way to do it is to click on me, click on my name, and then you'll be able to see who are my followers and the people that I follow, and you should be able to go through and also follow all the people that I do that are from our class. Most people have U of M Flint or EDE201 actually in their bio, which makes things a lot easier, but if you need to look at names again, that discussion board will help. If you are struggling with this, if you're struggling with finding people to follow, let me know and I can help you out. I'll try to make it as easy as possible so we can all get involved in the conversation. So that's the thing you need to do with Twitter this week, is to now start following our class. If you have chosen the assignment to tweet twice a week, that should really get going this week now that we have readings. So that brings me to our to-do list for Week 2, things that you need to think about. So the main assignment for this week is we're going to jump right in with reading our book, Half the Sky. Half the Sky is a wonderful book. It's really quite easy to read. It's not your typical textbook. It's not very textbooky. It in fact tells a lot of stories of real women around the world, and it's written by two journalists, Nick Kristof and Cheryl Woodan. They're a married couple, I believe, and they are New York Times journalists that have traveled all over the world and sort of gotten access to these remote places and talked to women. So it can be like I said, it's written very news article-y, not research, not textbooky. So there's not a lot. There's some statistics in the book, but not a lot. They're basically there to tell the story of some of these women. So each chapter will discuss a different issue. and probably a different region of the world as well, and a different group or several groups of women. The book is also going to talk about women that are working to help and working to solve some of these issues, women and men and organizations. So hopefully you're going to read some pretty sad stories in the book, but you're also going to see some pretty uplifting and hopeful messages, I hope. So this week you're going to start by reading Chapter 1 from Half the Sky. There is a documentary that goes along with this. Half the Sky is a huge movement. It was a documentary that was aired on PBS in the fall of 2012. I posted the website, the Half the Sky website, on our Week 2 module folder. I do recommend you going to that website and just sort of clicking around. And there's nothing specific you have to find or look for, but click around on the website, see what they have to offer with the book, with the documentary. There's lots of different resources and videos on there that you could watch. I will post some of those for this class to watch as well. But I want you to get familiar. You can like them on Facebook. You can follow them on Twitter. I follow them on Twitter. They're just at HALF, H-A-L-F, I believe. And so they've got a lot of great resources as well. But I want you to just browse around the website, get familiar with the authors before you read the book. It helps put things in a good context. If you have Netflix, the documentary, I believe, is streaming on Netflix for free. Well, not for free, you pay for Netflix, but if you have that, you can watch the documentary or pieces of it as you go. It's really quite good, but unfortunately it's not available online, and that would be illegal, so I don't have the entire documentary there for you, just clips that are sanctioned by the Half the Sky website. So Chapter 1 has to do with trafficking, and specifically sex trafficking. Trafficking there's two different types of trafficking. There's labor trafficking and there is sex trafficking. The word trafficking involves or indicates some sort of movement. People can be trafficked, but drugs can be trafficked. It usually involves taking things illegally over borders or moving people by force or without their consent, or moving people or things without their consent. So it involves a certain element of movement and as well as force and coercion. So labor trafficking involves forcing or coercing people, usually with a threat of violence, to perform work, otherwise known as slavery. And sex trafficking usually involves people being forced or coerced into performing sex. This is also known as forced prostitution. So this is the topic for this week's chapter in Half the Sky. And as you read, I want you to think about a few things. So this is just to think about. If you're going to be a discussion poster later or you're writing a reflection, these are good questions you might want to address. You can write your thoughts about those. But I want you to think about what are the underlying causes of trafficking. So as you're reading Half the Sky, think about, why is this happening? What is the problem that's going on here? How does poverty play a role in this? How does government stability or instability play a role in trafficking? I want you to think about how culture plays a role. How do the belief systems of people in some of these countries make a difference as to why women are trafficked, why they might take jobs that they think are safe but turn out to be illegal trafficking, forced prostitution. So think about how does culture and belief systems play a role in this as well. And then I want you to also think about how some people have tried to help. So also think about causes, think about culture, but think about how are people trying to help. What have been some of the causes of trying to help? Some of them are not always positive, right? These are very complex, very difficult issues that we're going to talk about in our class this semester. So I want you to think about there's not always a very easy solution. There's not always a let's just do this and it'll stop trafficking. If that were the case, it would probably be stopped by now, right? So we're going to talk about solutions in this class, but we're going to have to think creatively. So I want you to read that first chapter and think about how some people tried to help. Did it work? What could have worked? And these are just things to think about. Nothing that you have to write down or speak about, but keep that in mind in your headspace as you're reading. There's also an additional article on the syllabus this week, and it's about sex trafficking in India, one particular region of the world. So if you have chosen to do an assignment that involves researching a region of the world, a couple of the assignments do, and you think you might want to write about in India, present about India, then you might want to pay close attention to this article. But I want you to read it because this article talks about more statistical information and how widespread trafficking is in this particular area. Statistics can be very tricky because women that are trafficked don't always report that they are trafficked, and this can be very difficult to actually count how widespread this actually is. So this is a research article that attempted to do that, and they did the best they could with it. But trafficking is not something that just happens in other parts of the world. It's not something that just happens somewhere else. In fact, human trafficking is the kind of the broader umbrella of sex and labor trafficking. Human trafficking happens in Michigan, believe it or not. It's actually quite a huge problem. And the state government has put together a task force of law enforcement officials that are working toward stopping human trafficking. Congressmen, politicians, law enforcement officials, even university members, I believe, are part of this task force to help stop trafficking in Michigan. They have put together a PowerPoint that defines what trafficking is, also talks about warning signs, like how might you know if someone is being trafficked that you might know, or how would you know it when you see it, some sort of myths that people have about trafficking and what they think it is versus what it actually is. And these are all, this is actually a PowerPoint that is on the State Department website, and it's meant for public consumption. So it's there to raise awareness, because many people think this is not a problem that happens near us. So they wanted to put this information out there to get people more aware that this is an issue where we live, sadly. So I want you to read that, flip through that PowerPoint as well. It's quite long, but again, it's a PowerPoint, and so each slide has got 1 or 2 bullets on it, so don't be daunted by the length. And again, there's suggestions for videos to watch within that PowerPoint. I'm less concerned that you watch those videos. You certainly are welcome to, but I really just want you to get the information across. So that being a PowerPoint, you can flip through the slides really quickly and get that basic information. And some of the information might be really new to you, even if you think you know a lot about trafficking. And some of the myths might be kind of interesting for you. So if you were looking for a topic to write about for a discussion post or a reading reflection, thinking about what surprised you might be a really good topic to write about. So there's the PowerPoint. I want you to also then, lastly, to watch 2 very short news clips. One is from the news here. I'm in Detroit area. You are probably not, but here in Detroit and then in West Michigan, where I used to live, actually, there are 2 news clips, both from about the same time, just this fall or late summer. And both of them are having to do with this issue of trafficking in West Michigan and trafficking in Detroit. So this is quite a serious problem. One clip is their news clips, so they're very short, but one is about a trafficking bus that was the trafficking ring that was busted up in Detroit, and then another one is about a particular woman in West Michigan that has been forced into prostitution for many years. She has since sort of escaped, found her way out, and is now trying to counsel other people. So it's getting into a little bit of the solutions piece of it. But they're very short. I want you to watch both so you can see this is not just even a big city thing. I know in West Michigan, where I'm from, people are quite shocked to see that this stuff goes on. It tends to be a pretty conservative community over there, and high crime is not always what you associate with Grand Rapids, but it's there, obviously, and it's the problem, and it's a serious problem. So that's it. Read Half the Sky. Read the article about sex slavery in India. Flip through the human trafficking PowerPoint and watch the 2 news clips about Grand Rapids and Detroit. I am going to take everything I just said and put it into a checklist Word document so that you can just pull that up if you want and check things off as you do them. But that's how these modules are going to work every week. You're going to get a video of my smiling face telling you what to do for the week, explaining, giving you some background knowledge, explaining to you what you need to do, and then there's going to be that list of things all in the week 2 folder. It'll all be housed, everything you'll need for the week. Everything I say or talk about or write about will be in the folder for that particular module. You might have to go back and access other modules if you want to access something from a previous week, but they'll all be there in one folder. So before I sign off, I want to remind everybody about the assignments. Hopefully by now you have chosen an assignment plan. Like I said, you don't need to tell me the assignment plan. I'll figure it out when you start churning in assignments and posting on a discussion board or things like that, so I will know. But if you are concerned, like you're not quite sure what column or row to pick from, please email me. Don't hesitate to email me. I would much rather you email me and say, hey, is this cool? I'm going to do these 3 assignments. Will this work? Than to just go ahead and do it and have it not work later. Like I said, I recommend choosing the assignment plan now while you are beginning the course so that you can plan out your semester and you can plan out how to get things done. Online classes are, what's good about them is that they're very self-directed. You decide what you want to do. You decide when you need to do it. Like I said, this module, I gave you this long list of things to do, but you can do some of it one day, you finish it up another day. That's what's nice about online classes. You can watch this video anytime you want. However, you got to make sure that you're self-disciplined and that you do it and that you meet deadlines. And that's the tough part. So if you're struggling, if you need some help, please call me. Please let me know. So that being said, if you have chosen to do the reading reflections assignment, you will be doing 5 reading reflections throughout the entire semester. Those are much longer papers that you will turn in. If you decide, so therefore you can pick any 5 weeks that you want to do. So if you decided that one of your 5 weeks is going to be this week, great. There's going to be an assignment Dropbox in the week 2 folder. If you didn't pick that assignment, or if you picked it but you don't want to write about this week, then you don't need to do anything with that assignment Dropbox. If you chose the discussion post assignment, you must write a discussion post this week because you have to do 12 of them, and there are 12 weeks of readings. So you will have to post to our discussion board. That will be also in the week 2 folder. I started a thread. You will start a new thread. I'm going to start one, and you're going to start another one with your thoughts. So there will be however many threads there based on however many people have chosen to do the discussion board assignment. If you chose to do the discussion comments assignment, you will need to pick one of those discussion posts to comment on. And you will need to do that every single week. So if you chose those 2 assignments, make sure you get started this week. It'll be hard to make those up later on. The reading reflections, discussion posts, discussion comments, all of that is always, with everything, is due on Sunday night at the end of our week. So this is week 2. We're beginning on Monday, January 13th. So all your reading reflections, discussion posts, discussion comments are going to be due at Sunday, January 19th at 11:59 p.m. Everything's always due at 11:59 p.m. If you've chosen to do the Twitter assignment, I really look forward to seeing a couple of your tweets this week about what you're reading as you're reading it, or about some of the videos as you're going through it. So have a great week. Make sure to comment and talk to me and talk to each other, and that'll really add to everything that you need to do in this class. So I look forward to talking to you again soon.